Handling a grand jury in Washington, what it means for the Trump campaign Russia investigation behind closed doors. Suicide texting sentence, judgment day for a young woman convicted after urging her boyfriend to kill himself before he took his own life. A case garnering national attention. A big police department under fire. Officers accused of planting evidence. We'll show you what was caught on their body cameras, leading to dozens of cases being overturned. Backseat hazard, an alarming new look at the dangers of not buckling up in the back of the car. It's not just your own life you're putting at risk. And a great American success story celebrating 100 years of changing lives. Nightly News begins right now.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. The slow drumbeat of the Russia investigation that has haunted the Trump administration all summer long is picking up tempo tonight, with reports special counsel Robert Mueller has now impaneled a grand jury. If true, the move opens up broad new running room to an investigation that has apparently now expanded beyond just the question of whether there was coordination between Russia and members of the Trump campaign. Our chief White House correspondent, Hallie Jackson, has details.
Tonight, the special counsel investigating Russian election interference is entering a new phase of its inquiry, assembling a grand jury in Washington, D.C., as first reported by the Wall Street Journal. It's a signal Robert Mueller's investigation, which has dogged the administration and infuriated the president, will stretch on for months, if not longer. NBC News has not independently confirmed the report, but the grand jury would be empowered to hear testimony and get records from people or businesses.
The fact that special counsel Robert Mueller felt compelled to impanel a special grand jury in Washington suggests he wants a group of grand jurors focusing only on the Trump-Russia investigation and nothing else.
One of the president's outside attorneys tells NBC News, "We have no reason to believe President Trump is the president may have obstructed justice. President Trump's new White House lawyer, brought in specifically to deal with the Russia investigations, says he wasn't aware Mueller had started using a new grand jury, calling those matters typically secret, adding, "The White House favors anything that accelerates the conclusion of Mueller's work fairly and is committed to fully cooperating." Mueller has recently added even more former top prosecutors to his team as he assembles high-powered experts on everything from foreign bribery to public corruption.
The team that Mueller has assembled is a strong team of seasoned veteran prosecutors. This is the varsity.
The president has repeatedly lashed out at Mueller's investigation.
But the entire thing has been a witch hunt.
Now, on Capitol Hill, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are today introducing bills to help protect Mueller and his investigation.
Some people can say flexing our muscle, but it's really just doing exactly what the Founding Fathers wanted us to do, to have three strong, co-equal branches.
Remember, Congress is also running its own parallel investigations into Russian interference. And today, we're learning one Senate committee plans to interview Donald Trump Jr. and former campaign chair Paul Manafort over this August break, with the potential for a public hearing with them this fall. Lester?
Hallie Jackson in a stormy Washington tonight. Thank you. As that breaking story unfolds into the evening, the White House is also dealing with fallout from the president's private phone calls with world leaders. Transcripts of 7 sensitive conversations stunningly leaked and exposed for the whole world to see. NBC's Peter Alexander has details on some eye-opening comments from the president.
Tonight, the president's private calls unfiltered, 1 week after taking office. Admitting to Mexican President Enrique Peña Nieto he's politically cornered. "I have to have Mexico pay for the wall. I have to. I've been talking about it for a 2-year period."
Who's going to pay for the wall? Who?
In transcripts of the calls obtained by the Washington Post, the president pressures Peña Nieto to stop publicly saying Mexico won't foot the bill. "You cannot say that to the press." Still, Mr. Trump concedes the money would likely come from elsewhere. It'll come out in the wash, and that's okay. On the epidemic of illegal drugs smuggled into the U.S., I won New Hampshire because New Hampshire is a drug-infested den. In New Hampshire today, residents displeased.
I think using drug-infested den is harsh.
I would never say New Hampshire is drug-infested. I would say New Hampshire has its share of the problems like the rest of the country.
Another contentious call the next day with Australia's Prime Minister. The two leaders clashing over an Obama-era agreement that the U.S. admit refugees now detained in Australia. This is going to kill me, as I'm the world's greatest person that does not want to let people into the country. Before abruptly ending the call, Mr. Trump clearly exasperated. I've had it. This is the most unpleasant call all day. Putin was a pleasant call. This is ridiculous. The White House declining to confirm the authenticity of the transcripts, but the president has repeatedly railed against leaks.
We're going to find the leakers. They're going to pay a big price for leaking.
Tonight, lawmakers condemning the leakers.
These people should be fired. They should be out of government. They're disloyal to our government, and I hope that that's what's going to happen.
Tonight, President Trump back on the road in West Virginia, where support remains strong.
Problems this country is facing were not built in a day. They're not going to be fixed in a day. It's going to take time.
Lester, these really are uncharted waters. Even veteran national security officials say they have rarely seen leaks like this that seem to be focused on exposing the president's behavior. The transcripts are normally kept to a pretty tight circle, rarely outside the White House. But even the president's critics say that these leaks go too far, that they risk having a chilling effect on those private communications between the president and foreign leaders, especially if leaders become concerned about being candid because they fear those conversations could become public. Lester?
Peter Alexander tonight, thank you. The sentence has been handed down in an emotional and controversial case that has captured national attention. In Massachusetts, a 20-year-old woman was ordered to serve prison time for urging her boyfriend to commit suicide over text messages. He, in fact, did take his own life. Our Morgan Radford has more on today's sentencing.
Michelle Carter wiping away tears, sentenced today after being convicted of involuntary manslaughter, accused of encouraging her boyfriend, Conrad Roy, to kill himself.
Now sentences you to 2.5 years in the Bristol County House of Correction.
But tonight, she's free until her appeal can be heard. Her victim's family outraged.
So you wanted to see her walk out of here
In cuffs. Why not? This girl's been going to the prom, going to Disney World. She's still going to get to do all that, so I don't think there's any justice.
The emotional reaction coming moments after Roy's family took the stand.
He gave me an amazing 13 years.
His father pleading with the judge for a harsher sentence.
Michelle Carter exploited my son's weaknesses and used him as a pawn.
Carter's attorney begged for probation, arguing the then 17-year-old was a child who made a bad decision.
Adolescents are not as culpable as full-grown adults.
Carter's case captured national attention after thousands of texts were discovered between her and Roy in 2014. Tonight is the night, she wrote. It's now or never. When Roy texted, I'm freaking out again. I'm overthinking. Carter responded, I thought you wanted to do this. The time is right and you're ready. You just need to do it. That night, he sat in this Kmart parking lot outside of Boston and filled his grandfather's truck with carbon monoxide. At one point, Roy got scared and left the truck. But Carter told him to get back in, a choice the judge decided was manslaughter, saying she must now be held accountable.
I have not found that Ms. Carter's age or level of maturity or even her mental illness have any significant impact on her actions.
Her actions leaving two families shattered.
Michelle Carter has been sentenced to 2.5 years behind bars, but only 15 months of that sentence is actually mandatory. For now, she remains free as her case goes through the appeals process, but that could take months, if not years. Lester?
All right, Morgan Radford tonight, thank you. Now to a big city police force under fire. Officers in Baltimore accused of planting evidence. Scenes caught on their own body cameras, leading to dozens of cases being overturned. It's another problem for a force that has seen its share of controversies in recent years. NBC's Stephanie Gosk has the new details.
Shamir Collins was pulled over by Baltimore police late at night last November.
You locking me up for what?
I think they put something in my car.
Officers are seen searching the car on body camera video. After a 30-minute gap, body cameras pick back up, and police pull what they say is heroin from the car.
I'll put handcuffs on you because there's drugs in your car.
You didn't show me any drugs.
When they told you they found marijuana and heroin in your car, what was your reaction?
My reaction was, how?
You understand what I'm saying? How? Where?
Internal Affairs is investigating.
It's no doubt that the video that we see, the piece of video that we see, is ugly.
The Baltimore Police Department is in crisis, accused of tampering with evidence in the Collins case and another from January, when an officer, apparently unaware his camera was recording, appears to plant drugs in a cluttered backyard.
We're looking at the possibility that this could have been the recreating of the discovery of the drugs that weren't recovered when the body camera was on.
That officer was suspended. His two partners put on desk duty during.
Not only what our clients have been telling us for a long time, but just a deep level of disrespect.
Prosecutors have now tossed out 46 criminal cases connected to the officers in both videos, with dozens more under review. The Baltimore PD was already under scrutiny after the death of Freddie Gray. A body cam program was launched to help improve trust. Now, new guidelines. Cameras have to be activated at a scene, and at no time should officers attempt to recreate the recovery of evidence. Collins says she's scared of the police.
I'm not saying all of them are bad, but it's just like the ones that's bad is making all of them look bad.
Making the job of policing an already tough city even tougher. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News, Baltimore.
It is scorching in the Pacific Northwest. A third straight day of triple temperatures reaching 20 degrees, helping fire Columbia. Even the animals at the Oregon people are under heat advisories or extended through tomorrow. Minneapolis second bubble after natural gas during summer. Receptionists and janitors. Others, authorities are still working to pinpoint what triggered the blast. Tonight, there's news that every parent or grandparent of a teenage girl will need to hear. Word of an alarm.
Was when she or she attempts.
And every day grateful that she
which too many teenagers are not getting the help, especially 19. In that cases, 4 in for boys, 31 in saying
is digital.
Expert call overwhelming cyber factors. Actions I'd like teen reason about a who killed
one's life.
Cohen's increase about is
for change here. They're eating out certain
about how you're in all odds advice for about them. News.
Important information. Sees now burning and all this knows from the flame 1,000 in Dubai. Emergency evacuated, but for any death, also a death fire. Still, I think you're thinking new of not caught on